podcast. I'm Marisa.
And I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
If you would like a podcast that is not that, then head on over to Her's family-friendly podcast, Unlocked, where they talk to people about things.
And stuff.
And so much stuff.
So much stuff.
I mean,
Probably.
I assume. They talk to people. I'm for sure about them talking to people.
Yeah. And I would assume
it's
it's about
part.
stuff.
What else would they talk to people about? People?
You guys listen and then tell us.
Yeah. Please, let us know on our Twitter.
And thank you guys, and we're gonna go.
Thanks for coming,
Wow,
Get stream cat pictures.
That was efficient. So what are we gonna talk about today, Ariana?
Today we're gonna pitch those games.
Exactly, those exclamation points in between are incredibly necessary.
They are necessary.
Thank you. I'm glad you understood exactly what I meant when I wrote that title. So it's been a while since we pitched games.
Yeah.
I was in the Nancy Drew fan page on Facebook, and people were asking each other, where would you like another game to be set? And it got me thinking. So
that
I was like,
thinking.
I know, right? I was like, Ariana, we got to pitch some more games. Actually, I was more like, we haven't pitched games in a while. And Ariana was like, yeah, you're right, we haven't. So these are our games.
Yeah.
Right. Ariana has a really long one, so I'm going to start with one of my short ones instead.
I only wrote one. I was very into it.
You were very into it, and it's very in-depth, and I'm very excited for you.
Thank
but
you.
I'm going to go first.
You go first.
So I want one that's set in the desert, but isn't set at a ranch.
Yeah.
So I want one that's set, I'm just going to go for it and say it's set at Joshua Tree,
Or something there, because believe it or not, guys, there's more to deserts.
Yeah, there's a lot about deserts. So what I want is a desert ecology research camp, right? Because there is so much about desert, and I'm very passionate about desert. I love desert. There's so much that people don't understand about desert. There are different kinds of deserts. Did you guys know that? There's high deserts and low deserts.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're very different.
They're very different. So I want Nancy to be interning with a research team doing research on the effects of climate change on the animal population in high deserts. So that's what I want. Apparently, that was like the first thing that I was like, that's what they'll be doing. That's what I want. However, everything goes south when someone has been tampering with their equipment, which leaves them stranded in the desert in, summer.
Oh, no.
So they're unable to get out. They're unable to radio anyone for help. So Nancy has to figure out who's doing it and figure out how they're supposed to call for help or, get out of there before their supplies run out, basically, and figure out why someone would do that. Is it a personal vendetta against someone on the team? Is it sheer incompetence in someone in the team? Or is someone trying to keep their findings either to themselves or just from getting out? Is it academic espionage?
Whoa.
Someone trying to steal their findings? Sell them? What is it? What is it? Isn't that exciting? I think that's all very exciting.
I think so.
And since it's out in the California desert, we could learn about the actual native peoples in that area. So maybe, one of the people in the group is, from some of the peoples who actually used to live in that land. So people... It's too north for Kumeyaay, but, the Kwahila and the Mojave even went that far west at one point.
They traveled that far. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, many different people used that land at one time or another. So maybe someone, and the Kwahila are still, or Kwahia? I can't remember which one it's pronounced. I always want to pronounce it Kwahia, but I know it's probably an actual L sound. But they actually still have...
Kawilla, right?
I think so.
Kawilla?
I can't remember. But they still have bands around that area, so it would make sense for someone from them to be on the research team. So, and maybe Nancy actually learns about them instead of it just being on, a little tiny diorama.
Display you don't even have to look at.
Yeah. And then we also learn about the difference between, high deserts and low deserts, why the Joshua Tree is so special, and get to learn about all of the specific, California desert animals. They're cool,
Yeah.
Or just desert animals in general, like kangaroo rats and kit foxes and stuff like that. They're cool, and they're awesome, and
they'd be super cute to animate.
They would be.
How much would you just love going to look under a rock and the fucking kangaroo rat comes out in front of you and gives you that little face? Guys,
and get to learn
stop right this second and Google kangaroo rat.
It's true.
They are so cute. I love them.
They're so cute. Honestly. And it's just so cool. All the different things that so many of the animals, specifically in, the California deserts, do to conserve water.
Yeah.
It's just,
they're amazing. Because,
just the reason I say a Southern California desert is because Southern California has the most biodiversity in the Americas. I mean, in at least North America. But you're glad you Googled that? Good. They're so cute. And they don't need to, drink any water. All of the water that they need, they take in through their food. They take little dust baths.
Oh!
It's so
Google
cute.
Google the dust bath. Google kangaroo rat taking dust bath.
Yes, okay. So we'd learn about that stuff. And that's why this game needs to be made.
Yeah. Plus the birds. I mean, how
good.
And it could be the beginning of summer, so you still got the flowers blooming.
Yes. And we get to learn about super blooms.
Ooh, like this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Or no, I guess it was last year. Shit.
Oh, time is going by in a bad way.
Yeah.
But yes. Anyway. And learn about how climate change is affecting super blooms and how they're happening more and more because of climate change. So, it even ties into my entire thing. Okay.
Yeah, they could totally be studying a super bloom, and that's... Yeah.
Exactly. And then if they have none of their supplies and stuff, and then at night, if it's early enough, nighttime gets down so cold too, and you have to learn about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let me tell you, Joshua Tree suddenly is so cold.
It's true. You went camping at Joshua Tree, didn't you?
I did. It was mostly a day trip, but we stayed there until the night so that we could feel the difference in the weather.
Was that for Girl Scouts?
No, that was for 5th grade camp.
Oh, right.
Because that's when Allison lost her shoe in a mud puddle.
Gotcha.
But anyway.
Ariana's game.
Let's talk about my game. As usual, my game is more character-centric than mystery-centric. I will be honest. I think that's what I end up pitching most. That's who I am as a writer, so now you know me.
It's okay. Continue.
But yeah, no. My pitch for a game is a wrestling game. Now, bear with me.
Okay.
Literally, though, I do admit that it's because I've been watching Glow. I watched the entire season starting last night and ending today. So it is highly influenced, but I do feel like it's a great environment for character development, and honestly, it would be a fun environment to explore, you know? Okay, so we take the same approach as we did with Stay Tuned for Danger, where it's, coming into this performance, a wrestler is having his life threatened. Maybe he's friends with Maddie, and he heard about how she was able to get to the bottom of those threats, and so he's hoping that she can do the same for him. I feel like this is going to be a really good time to get judgy Nancy, because, you know, she knows that. But but we could just have the victim be a very enthusiastic performer who Nancy's eventually like, I mean, don't you want to do real performing or real sports instead of this? And then she's given a speech about how much he loves wrestling and how it's one of the greatest experiences of his life, and that he loves the performance element. He loves having to, you know, counter one person's moves, and you have to, you know, really trust one another. It's beautiful. I can see the scene. It'd be great. I'm thinking he's gonna be like a combination of The Rock and John Cena, but with like this sweet innocence that, like, you're just like, he's the equivalent of a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed person, except he looks like a rough guy who will rip your head off. So, one of those people. But yeah, so he's getting threats. The heel would be her obvious suspect. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, a heel is the bad guy, essentially. The person that you're supposed to not like in a wrestling match. You know? So the heel would be Nancy's first suspect, because she doesn't know the world of wrestling. She thinks, oh, they're enemies. Which, you know, she's gonna go in being like, oh, wrestling's not real, blah, blah, blah. And then she's gonna still think that enemies thing makes sense.
She's gonna fall for all of it.
Because, yeah, she's gonna fall for every fucking act. She's gonna be, no, but don't you guys love each other? No, that's part of the act, man, you know? But yeah, so she would just see them as enemies, and there would be a bunch of psych outs where she thinks that she hears him talking about how he's sabotaging the victim, but actually he's looking out to protect his buddy, because a lot of the time, you know, wrestlers get very close, and they, you know, that sounded like a euphemism. It was not. I literally meant because they're having to work together and trust each other with their bodies, you know. They're actually very close and think highly of one another, you know? Or at least respect one another, even if they don't like each other. I would also... There could be some other male wrestler characters. I don't really care. Those are the ones that I care about. There could also be 2 female wrestlers who... So that we get the point of view of women in wrestling, because they are, as with other things, more often they are underappreciated, they are underutilized, they are underpaid, and I want these women to be representing that. And so they're like, you know, you see these women who... Okay, so like, they know that they're working hard. They're working like 10 times as hard and getting 10 times as less for it. You know, main guy, you know, victim guy is still the box office favorite. You know, everybody loves him, and they just get to walk around, you know, being like, oh, we're the women, and, you know, just feel like tokens. But so we can see where they might be jealous, where they might be good suspects. But as we get to know them, we find that one is just, you know, happy working, even if she's bitter. She's like, this is all I've wanted to do since I was 15, and I caught a wrestling match with a boyfriend. He thought he was taking me on a bad date, and I loved it. And she's just going to be a very pleasant person. And then the other woman's going to be much harsher. She's going to be like, no, this has been my life. Since I was a little kid, I have wanted nothing but this. This is acting, this is roughhousing, you know, all the fun things. And I really want, in the end, for them to find the bad guy cornering Nancy, and they end up, like, pinning him to the ground, and that'll like, cue up, like, Nancy, saying, wait, well, I wrote a one-liner for her. It was it's stupid, too. Hold on. I think that's what you in wrestling biz call a knockout.
Hey.
She's wrong. But then that gives him a chance to go, ugh. You know, that thing where they, like, roll their eyes and then collapse.
Yes.
At Nancy when she's done her one-liner. But yeah, so anyway, that's it for the women. Basically, I would... They're the characters that I would love the most. They're the characters that I would love the most. So, like, there would be so much about them if I didn't feel like I had to rush this.
You don't have to rush. It's okay. Take your time.
The other two suspects, because these are all my main suspects. We could have other characters I don't really give a shit about. I've already said that, but you know. The other two would be a quote-unquote manager. She wouldn't know the difference. But anyway, it'd be a quote-unquote manager and the owner of the ring. Just so we're clear, the owner is the bad guy.
Wow, way to spoil it for everyone, Ariana. We could be selling this idea to Her Interactive.
I'm pitching it to them. They need to know where I'm going with it, okay?
I'm trying to keep some of the mystery so people will play the game.
But no, we suspect the manager because Nancy doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't understand. All she knows about the manager is that he was a wrestler, but he got injured. So he's, you know, a manager now, quote unquote. When in actuality, more often than not, when wrestlers get injured, they become on stage managers, quote unquote, so that they're playing into the drama of it without having to throw their bodies around. Sometimes they do. There are the odd ones who do get into the ring and wrestle, but like, you know, so we find out that actually, you know, he is a bit jealous, but and so Nancy's kind of like, oh, it's just like Dwayne Powers. So, you know, she for once remembers him.
No one remembers Dwayne Powers.
Oh my God, you guys!
Secretly, it is Dwayne Powers. This is where
Dwayne Powers is the owner of the ring.
No, someone already asked, is it Bill Pappas? Yes.
Oh,
the owner of the studio in Stay Tuned for Danger.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yeah, no, but the culprit is the owner who thinks that the lead wrestler is too clean cut and bad for business. He's like, oh, this has gotten too family friendly. I remember when it was about counterculture, blah, blah, blah. He'll have a whole stupid spiel where you're like, oh, okay, so you're just afraid of the future, old man. He's not going to be that old, but, you know, it's still going to be that feeling.
Yeah, well, Nancy is 19 perpetually, so anyone over the age of 25 is old to her.
But yeah, and so he gets caught monologuing, but it's hard to, like, tell that he is the culprit the whole time because he's just, he spends the whole game he's talking about how he's publicizing the place, about how he's, you know, trying to reinvent the image, da-da-da-da-da. And that's why I think a wrestling ring would be a really good, it would be a really good environment to explore because we could see, you know, some of the bits of publicity that he's getting together to put out. We could see cutouts and stuff, you know, and we could also see maybe in the hallways there's old wrestling posters put up. They're just history of wrestling basically just through posters and we could I'm sorry. It'd be a very exciting location. It would be very similar to Final Scene in feel. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, it'd be lobby, stage area, backstage area, some wings. And there are so many opportunities that it's a working stage area. They're going to have, like, secret passageways.
And accidents.
There could be a bomb underneath the ring that Nancy has to disarm.
Or another time when someone just cuts through a C-clamp and...
Yeah.
You know, just wastes another light on her.
Why cut through a C-clamp? Why not just,
that just loosen it. I don't...
Yeah, that's all you gotta do, man.
That seems like a lot easier to me, is just to loosen the C-clamp, but...
You were already wearing a glove, like...
Dwayne Powers, you went a little too far cutting through the C-clamp.
You could have just... too extra.
You could have just used a wrench. Like, did he go, oh no, I accidentally packed my saw instead of my wrench?
Fucking idiot.
Okay, so that's the wrestling game that everyone in chat really wants.
Hold on, I have to say the best part, which is the ending.
Okay.
But since I did things out of order, I skipped it when I was doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, I would love it if we've got the two lady wrestlers and the two dudes, and so the heels and the heroes team up against one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of each gender, and it ends in like we know that they had this like massive match as a publicity thing, and all we have, because it's Nancy writing her letter home to Ned, is a picture that she took of them all four coming at each other, and so we've got like a Rocky ending where we're like, who won? She's like, but I guess that you'll have to watch the video I took when I get home. You know, one of those sorts of things.
You'll have to watch on pay-per-view.
But then it would have already happened.
Yeah, well, maybe in the future she's writing him a message on Facebook instead of a letter.
Oh, no.
Which would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of silly that she writes him letters at this point.
Those just get lost, man.
I mean, by the time she gets home, it's just like, she'll make it home before the letter does. Mm-hmm. So... But yeah,
that's my exciting wrestling game.
Everyone in chat really wants it, so you know. I have another one. I want Maya to come back. Our good friend Maya Nguyen. I want Maya to come back. So here's my plan, my idea for a story. This one just takes place in just somewhere. I don't have an idea of like a place. So it can be anywhere in the US. We'll figure it out. Okay. So Maya is doing like a pretty routine story on like a local election somewhere. But she senses that there's something more to it than meets the eye. However, her editor has told her she's not allowed to pry any further and will not explain why. So she brings Nancy with her because she has no control over if Nancy pries. And she knows that if Nancy spots something that is, you know, untoward, Nancy's going to keep going until she figures out what's wrong. So, she brings Nancy with her to do her dirty work. While she gets to be the complete, you know, model citizen writer of this.
I'm doing exactly what you wanted, boss. It's just, it's my friend. I can't control her.
She's have troubled. Not been doing anything. You can check. I haven't been using any of my credentials to look into anything. So Nancy obviously agrees because Nancy wants to spend time with her obviously best friend Maya, who they were best friends if you guys don't remember.
Yeah. Best friends. She even knew where Maya's parents were at the time.
Yeah. It's true. So she wants to go hang out with her friend, who has obviously just been jet-setting around the world being a reporter. Obviously.
Yeah, oh yeah. She's worldly now.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's why we haven't heard from her. She's just been even more, like, all over the world than Nancy has.
It turns out she's in her 40s now. She's like, Nancy, why are you still 19?
No. No, she's, you know, she's still... early 20s. It's fine. She's progressing slowly, but surely.
Okay.
But Nancy completely agrees, obviously. And she finds out that there is totally something fishy going on. And Maya's editor is being bribed or even blackmailed to cover it up, to keep everything quiet. So,
I say
now Nancy... What did I say?
No, I'm just saying I vote for blackmailed.
Yeah, I like that idea better too.
Yeah.
So now Nancy, has taken it upon herself to figure out what's going on. Why has the editor of Maya's paper been blackmailed into keeping everything from being uncovered about this seemingly innocuous local election? What is going down in this local election that is making everything seem so off? Like, we have to know. Nancy has to know.
Nancy always has to know.
It's up to Nancy to uncover what's going on and help Maya get the real story without implicating Maya in her investigation whatsoever. And I think that we get to call Deirdre on this one as well. Because Deirdre then has access to everything. So Nancy's like, okay, find out about this person, and calls Deirdre and is like, hey, can you look up this person in the archives to see if they have like a criminal record or something like that. And we find out that I haven't decided on everything that's going on. I really wanted this to be based on Maya is calling Nancy in. That is my pitch for this. Is that this is a Maya story, a Maya game.
Yes, absolutely. A Wynn production, if you will.
Yes. So that's that game.
All right. I'm going to throw some shade here. I think our games are advertised much better than Midnight in Salem. I'm just saying.
I still don't quite know what's supposed to be going on in Midnight in Salem because, one thing is that they've changed the plot 3 times.
Yeah.
But I also agree. I think we got people more excited about your wrestling game than anyone has been about Midnight in Salem.
Yeah.
So
I also think that our, they're just better put together and articulated. And I say this knowing that I was not very articulate in my description.
Yeah. So I'm
Verbose,
just saying,
quite articulate, not so much.
I'm just saying, Her Interactive, if you would like to hire us, you can contact us on our Twitter.
Can somebody please just joke post on there? Hi, this is Her Interactive Executive. Literally say that's who you are. That's what I need right now.
Yeah, it would be very funny. Hi, this is Penny Milliken, CEO of Her Interactive.
Hi, this is your friend Penny.
Your friend Penny. Your pal. Pal Penny. Yeah, so, those are our games.
Yeah.
That we have for today. We want to hear your guys' pitches, though, because that's one of my favorite things about doing these pitch games, is that people pitch their games to us as well.
So fun.
And it is fun. I love hearing it. So if you would like to pitch your games to us, please do so on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, or our fancy website, krolmeistersisters.knifefightclub.com.
You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, where you can leave us a review and let us know how much you love us.
Because you love us.
And how much you want to see my game be made, because
yeah, I
really need this game now. I'm very interested in these wrestlers.
Yes, these wrestlers have to happen.
They are my life.
Also, you guys can subscribe to us on Twitch and get access to our cute little wine glass emote. Or you guys could support us on Patreon, patreon.com/KrolmeisterSisters, to get access to podcast night VODs. So you guys can actually see when Streamcat wanders on stream and we pause everything and we just kind of point at her on screen. As well as get exclusive Streamcat pictures.
I feel like all of our perks really end up involving Streamcat.
No, because they can also tell us exactly what to talk about. At $10 a month, you guys can tell us what you want us to talk about.
Ooh.
On the podcast, which no one has done yet.
Can they suggest non-Nancy Drew things just for fun?
I mean, I don't see why not.
I mean, obviously within reason.
Within reason. I mean, don't be like, hey, can you talk about Martin Luther's 95 Theses? I'm going to say no.
I mean, I could, but I just feel like it'd be a very divisive topic. I would get really caught up on the subject of predestination. So
I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind.
I don't know. I'm down with it.
Okay, but as a reminder, I'm Risa.
I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. And we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.